is going on here?
Send out the enforcement officers, or better still, send me £100 fine, because I won't be paying £100 to you bunch of stupid and you'll have to take me to court where we might decide about my human rights too, swear.
That's Ian Driver protesting to Margate against Thanet Council's recent ban on swearing. It comes as the Free Speech Union announced they're planning a legal challenge against Thanet Council, warning they risk wasting large sums of taxpayers' money if it takes up the fight. Joining me now is the director of the Free Speech Union, Toby Young. Toby, welcome. So, Toby, I saw the video. You went out this week. You had a day trip to Thanet Council to the seaside. What were you hoping to prove, to illustrate to them?
Council passed this new public space protection order. Several of the Labour councillors, including the leader, were very scathing and rude about the Free Speech Union because they tried to pass a very similar ban last year. We threatened them with legal action and they abandoned the attempt. They're now trying it again, but they were very scathing, so they weren't scared of us, said that if I came down to Margate, they would give me a piece of their mind. So I decided to take them up on the challenge, went to Margate last Tuesday, hoping to meet with the leader of the council, and he was nowhere to be seen. Didn't want to debate their swearing ban. It's not just swearing they're trying to ban. At one point, they wanted to ban the excretion of bodily fluids in public, which would have made it a crime to breastfeed in public or to sneeze in public.
Do you want to save a boatload of cash this summer, wherever you have a trip planned? The one thing you're going to need is access to the internet and on the go. And you can do that easily with Saily. Hit the link in the description to get 15% of your first eSIM plan ready for your trip so you can browse to your heart's content. Saily gets you a local SIM card you can use when traveling so you don't have to pay those crazy roaming fees just to send a message or check the latest news. Now, they've got plans in over 160 countries, 8 regions, so pretty much everywhere, wherever you're going, they'll be able to make sure you're connected. So how does it work? All you've got to do is this. Hit the link in the description to download the app. It will work on iOS or Android. Buy a plan. You can choose an amount of data and time frame that suits you best. And then just install the eSIM on your phone. When you land at your holiday destination, you can activate your plan instantly. And if that wasn't enough, Saily eSIMs only ever have to be installed once. So when you go on your next trip, you just buy a plan for a new country, turn that eSIM back on, and boom, you're back watching me on GB News. I'll be using a Saily SIM on my next holiday because it's actually faster than some of the hotel Wi-Fis. You can get unlimited data if you want, so you can scroll away to your heart's content. And when you leave the hotel, you don't have to do that annoying thing of Wi-Fi hopping because you've got constant connectivity wherever you go. And they've got 24/7 support as well and a full refund policy if your eSIM isn't compatible. So get sorted for your next trip. Download Saily using the link in the description below. And if you use the code NEWS at checkout, you'll get an exclusive 15% discount on us. So click the link, download Saily, and use the code NEWS at checkout.
They really hadn't thought this through. And they've now dropped that part, but they still want to make it a crime punishable by a £100 fine to use foul or abusive language. And they're going to employ enforcement officers from a local private security company to go around fining people. And if you stub your toe in Margate or Ramsgate or Broadstairs, chances are a man in a high-vis vest will tap on your shoulder and demand £100. It's completely ridiculous. We don't think it's lawful. Councils up and down the country are becoming more and more promiscuous about imposing these absurd bans, criminalising various forms of speech. We're now going to take them to court. We're going to say, I'm sorry, you can't do this. It's unlawful. It clashes with Article 10 of the European Convention on Human Rights, which protects freedom of speech. Get back in your box.
Fair enough. Do you think that, I mean, it seems very telling that they were like, come and meet us, and then they backed out. Have they had any contact with you since?
Well, we sent them a pre-action...
I meant Thursday. I got the wrong day, sorry.
They haven't said that. They've gone quite quiet since my visit to Margate, but they have responded to our legal threat, saying they intend to fight it, which I think is a grave mistake. Our lawyers advise us that it's an open and shut case. They've drafted this public space protection order so clumsily that there's no way a court will side with them. They're now going to waste, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of local ratepayers' money, only to lose at the end of this process. I mean, I think because I came down and challenged them, and they hid away. They're now determined to kind of see this through, very unwisely. It may sound reasonable banning swearing in towns in your particular district, but it's so imprecise. It's so cat-handedly worded. They want to make it unlawful to use foul or abusive language, and those terms have no legal meaning in English common law. An enforcement officer could interpret them completely arbitrarily. You could get fined for saying blinking heck and not fined for using the C word, depending on which enforcement officer happens to overhear you using the word. If they want to do this, they're going to have to be much more precise and careful in what it is they're trying to ban. They should confine it to particular areas. I mean, to give you an example of how poorly drafted their original public space protection order was, Josh, they originally said, we want to ban the consumption of alcohol. And they rattled off this list of places they wanted to ban alcohol consumption in, and it included pubs and clubs, licensed premises. You can't ban the consumption of alcohol on licensed premises. They redid that and took out clubs and pubs, but it shows you just how incompetent. It's kind of Keystone Cops authoritarianism. Carry on 1984.
So, because like you say, they put this proposal forward last year. You challenged it. What did they change in this year's version then to make it at least what they think is going to be acceptable?
Yes, they've tried to be more precise about the particular language they want to ban. But in other respects, they've actually gone broader. Part of the ban, which they haven't yet rescinded, I mean, we challenged them about 10 days ago, and they did slightly improve the public space protection order in an effort to make it legal. But we don't think they've succeeded. So one of the things that's still there is that it's now an offence in Margate, Ramsgate and Broadstairs to humiliate or degrade someone in a public space. What does that mean? I mean, does that mean if you're playing football and you beat your opponents by more than a 5-goal margin, you can be fined £100? I mean, if you take the mickey of someone, can you be fined £100? I mean, if Jimmy Carr plays in Margate, Odeon, can he be fined £100 for humiliating a heckler? They just really haven't thought it through.
Well, normally I agree with you, but I was in Margate and someone shouted out Baldy, and I was very, very offended about that. Who tells you about this particular case? Was it someone from Margate that contacted you? Was it? I know I saw it also in the news. But, I mean, is this some sort of trend that these councils are now just massively overstepping, so you have to go in quite hard on this to stop it kind of snowballing to different councils around the country?
Yeah, it's the latter. It is actually quite a serious issue. More and more local councils, particularly Labour local councils, are deciding to ban various things. They have this ability to supposedly clamp down, put these bans in place to control antisocial behaviour, and they're just abusing this right and trying to ban all sorts of things that couldn't possibly be banned, by Parliament. And they have to follow various procedures. What they do has to be compatible with the European Convention on Human Rights, and it's legally quite complicated. To get these bans right is quite difficult. None of them have really taken the trouble or taken proper legal advice. We have a spreadsheet of all the councils in England and Wales who are constantly trying to impose these absurd town hall bans. Okay. And every time they do it, we issue a legal challenge, and Margate is just the latest that happens to do it. But one thing, Josh,
I'm going to stop you there, but thank you so much, and good luck with the fight. Hopefully next time you get to go to Barbados.